Okay, y'all. So, yep, everyone's hopping in right now. Okay, here we go. But I'm glad y'all are here, and I'm really excited that Rozalyn is joining us tonight. So, I have followed this lady from day one. I think you joined a year before me. I think maybe a little bit longer than that. But one of the big reasons I wanted to ask you to come tonight is because I know so many of us struggle to figure out how to fit this in the chaos of life. Like it feels like there's never enough time to do all of the things. And I know a big thing I've admired about your journey is you worked full time in, corporate world and still did this and grew to the top and were successful. And so I know that you've had to have seasons where you had to dig in and push through, even if the want to wasn't there. So I just thought we could all benefit from hearing your story and your journey and maybe just some things that helped you. So we would love for you to take it away, girl.
Sure. So hi guys, I'm Rozalyn Payne. I'm a Diamond Senior Gold Ambassador with Plexus. And I have been in this business since June of 2013. So is that a year before you, Kendall?
Yeah, that's actually about 6 months before me.
Okay. Yeah. When I first heard about Plexus, it was from my group of girlfriends. And they had jumped on, I would say maybe 3 months before me. And they were all drinking their drink and, talking about it everywhere and doing all the things. And I was so turned off. It's like, I have zero interest in what y'all are doing. I was a marketing executive. I was actually a media director, and I worked at ad agencies all over Dallas. I had a 19-year career in advertising. And at the time that this was going down, I was actually working 3 jobs. I had owned an ad agency at one point in my career, and the recession of '07 just about wiped us out. So I ended up getting a job running the media and marketing for a school, my kids' school. They went to a private school at the time. And then I had clients who were hanging on for my old business, I was also in the business of. So I was probably working about 50 hours a week. So when all my friends were like, Roz, we're doing this Plexus thing, you got to come do it with us. I was like, absolutely not. I won't be doing that. I don't even want to try your stuff. And I'm just kind of waiting for the bottom to fall out, because all I'd ever known in my whole career was, working in corporate America. And you work and you work your way up the ranks, and, you get promoted, and, hopefully someday you get, to a position that you really dream of. What they were doing just made no sense to me. I'd never known anybody in network marketing that had ever been uber successful. And I just really thought this was a fly by night. And I thought just jumping on just to be part of the cool kids club, completely honest. And so I sat there and I watched them month after month after month. And y'all, they were losing weight. They were getting off medications. They were just, I could see these positive things changing, and I was happy for them because they were all my friends, but I still wasn't like, but that's not for me. Right. And then they started telling me how much they were making. And I was like, this has got to be, there's no possible way. I mean, we used to get paper checks back then, and they would walk into my office because all of our kids went to the same school, and they would slap down their paycheck and they'd be like, boom, and they'd walk out, and I would look at it and I would think, they just made 5 figures sharing about these. How is that even possible? So interest was totally peaked, because from an ROI standpoint, you're looking at, on your return on investment, the amount of time I was spending in that office and working, they were circling my paycheck, my monthly paycheck, with these checks that they were getting. And some of them had never worked a day in their life. Completely true. And so it was actually my husband that finally said something to me about it. And I'd come home from work, and there was someone at the door, and I opened up, and it was a UPS guy, and he had a box. And y'all know when you order Plexus, a lot of Plexus, you get the box and it has the duct tape that says Plexus on it. And I thought, are my friends trying to push this stuff on me? Are you serious right now? And my husband's like, babe, that's mine. And I was like, are you ordering on the slide from my friends? And he's like, babe, I really want to try this stuff. Everyone's loving it. And what if you gave it a try? Like, what if this could help? And I'm like, oh my gosh, not you too. Seriously, what's happening right now? And he's like, but babe, what if this could help our son? I have a son, he's high functioning on the autism spectrum, and he was needing a therapy. It was a brain mapping therapy, and it was going to cost us $1,000. And we didn't have that at all. We barely had $100 extra every month. You know what I'm saying? And the whole time that my friends were doing this and wanting me to do it with them, I kept thinking of what it would make me look like. You know what I mean? It was a very selfish outlook on this whole idea. I never thought, what if this could help my family? What if this could help my son? What if? And so all you mamas out there know, if somebody puts something between you and your child, you will knock down walls to help your child. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how I felt in that moment. It was like this total paradigm shift where I was like, okay, I will give this a try if it's for him, but I bet you we'll make a couple $100 and we're going to have to pray through the rest because I don't see how this is going to work. And so I called my friend. I was like, okay, I'm in. I'll give this a try. And she's like, oh, game on. So I get out a notebook and I wrote notes on one sheet of paper. That's what I did to launch my business. We didn't have all these trainings. We didn't have all these calls. I think we had a phone call that we would all listen in on live on a phone call. And that was the most training we got. And it was on Wednesday nights. So I still have that notebook and I still have the notes I wrote down. And I just kind of put on, I was like, all right, let me do what they're doing. I'll share what they're sharing. I'll do the things. And I didn't even have a testimony, right? Because I'm one of those rare people who jumped in just for the business. So I used my uplines before and after. And I put it up there and I said, okay, guys, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm giving this a shot. My friend's lost 35 pounds. I've watched her. She's been drinking this stuff for 6 months. She was drinking it for about 6 months before she even started sharing. She didn't sign up until 3 months before. And I watched her shrink. And I was like, and so I'm on this journey too. I'm ready to get a piece of that action. I said, if you want to hop on with me, give me a shout. And then my phone started ringing. And I was actually so sick that I actually posted that I think I shut my laptop and I went to go pack for this trip I was going on. I was like, what did I just do? I felt like sweat on my brow. I was like, and now I know how all my people feel that are brand new, But guys, in my first full month with Plexus and doing that, I made $1,200. And I was like, wait a minute. If I just made enough, not only to pay for Colton's therapy, but I also have an extra $200, what would happen if I put actual business acumen behind this? Like, what if I really treated this like one of my companies, like a business? What could I do with it then? Because ultimately, I wanted to not work. I wanted to be home with my kids. But I never even allowed myself to even think that or throw that dream out there because I never thought I'd ever be able to. And so why do that to myself, right? What I was thinking. And so now I had something in front of me that actually speaking to me saying, you might actually be able to do this or do something with it. What if the Lord has just laid something in front of you that is going to be a conduit to you getting out of the situation and living a life you'd always secretly thought of, but never even let anybody know because you knew that in your deepest of moments thought that'll never happen for me. And I just proved to myself in that 1 month that this is something very different. And I called him up and I was like, my upline, I was like, all right, listen, I did some money this month. I think I want to try to do this. And y'all, I literally, again, put my blinders on and I just took off. And 8 months after that, I went Emerald. 3 months after that, or 2 months after that, I guess I went Sapphire. And 3 after that, I went Diamond. It was a boom, 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 boom. But what I was doing is I was ensuring that I was calling out and reaching out to all these players who I used to work in the industry with. People that I knew were go-getters, people that I knew were troubleshooters, that were not afraid of hard work, people that could troubleshoot, work their way around a computer, people that understood social media. Because see, at the time that we all started, network marketing companies weren't using social media as a platform at all. Plexus was kind of the first. We were kind of pioneers in that. Now everybody's out there selling, everything and their mother on social media, but we were kind of some of the first. And I had one of my Sapphires tells me the story. She says, I was watching you guys do this on social media and I thought they're either the craziest idiots in the world or they're the most Now, I'm not saying she was saying I was brilliant, but she thought, what an idea. What an idea to take this free, this free platform. Because, I worked in advertising. I had clients that would give me $11 million and say, Rozalyn, how do we spend this? And then I would tell them how to spend it. And then I would go out and I would negotiate that in TV, radio, outdoor, print, online, all the things. So I was to purchasing these kind of exposures. But all of a sudden, with this, it cost me next to nothing to sign up because they had some deal going on, as they do. And now my marketing budgets, it just made all the sense in the world to me. So I really took advantage of having that and having the ability to be able to share this on social media. I knew the messages had to be really poignant. I knew I had to speak to my circle the way they wanted to be spoke to. I knew what my friends struggled with. We were all young moms at the time. Most of us had middle schoolers or elementary schoolers. I knew everybody was tired. I knew, and so nowadays people are very open about what they struggle with and they talk about all the time. Oh, you guys, people are telling us every day that they need either what we have or the opportunity we have every day. You just have to listen and keep your eyes open. And that's what I was doing. And I was reaching out to people saying, okay, girl, you've been talking about these headaches for 6 months. Let me tell you something. Okay, girl, your kids have had these tummy issues since we knew each other. Take this ProBio 5. I'll buy you a bottle. Try it on them and just see if it works. I was calling my friends and I was doing what I would want someone to do to call me, like my friends were doing, saying, what if this, and the good thing too, is these products, you guys, because they were natural, there was no sugar, there was no, preservatives, preservative free, all the things. These were some products that my son was already taking from a naturopath. He already had omegas. He already had a vitamin. He already had probiotics that he was taking. Now that I have that are actually premium to what I was giving him, I can give my own son. So the validity was just, hitting me right and left on this. And it just made sense. It also made sense because they're consumable products. This isn't mascara, guys. These aren't handbags. These are not items. These are items that people consume in their life. Many people take them in lieu of medication. So this is something everybody needs. Also, look at it from a target market standpoint. If you're looking at handbags and mascara and face wash, that's a woman's product, right? Our products are for everybody. Our target market's wide open. We have children, adults, senior citizens, men, women. It doesn't discriminate. Our products are for everybody. So it made sense to me from a business standpoint. I'm like, okay, I've got a premium product line, stuff my own family takes. It's consumable. People have to order it every day, use it every day. I'm using it and I'm loving it. It checked every single box. I couldn't find a negative. The only negative that I could find was that I'd never done this before in terms of marketing. So I knew I had a learning curve. I knew I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to figure this out because I want to do it not like the way I've seen other people do it because that stuff makes me feel icky. I need to do it the way I would want to be talked to. So when I would write posts as if I'm talking to myself. What would interest me? What would make me roll my eyes? What would make me be like, all right, I'll give it a try. You know what I mean? And I think I truly believe that it put me in that position of being such a skeptic and being such an eye roller and arms crossed and waiting for it to fail so that I could now truly understand how my circle and sphere of influence probably sees me and sees this business. And I can empathize and I can call them and I can say, I know this probably looks crazy to you, but let me tell you what this has done for me. What has this done for me? I was the kind of person that, my husband and I wouldn't go out to eat unless we had a coupon. Everything in our house was kind of broken and I felt like everything was duct taped together, All the stuff we had was from when we got married. We'd been married at the time for 20 years, maybe 19 years at the time. And I remember when I started making my first paychecks, people were like, oh my gosh, you're gonna buy a second house, you're gonna buy a car. I'm like, I'm gonna fix the fence. I'm gonna get a can opener that works. I am going to make sure that I get new tennis shoes because I've been wearing the same pair for 9 years. You guys know what I mean. When people are like, oh, what are these luxuries? And the pomp and circumstance is very fun, but that's what was important to me. It still isn't what was important to me. I wanted to make sure that if my hot water heater went out, that I wasn't having to slap down a credit card and put it on there. That when I had to go put new tires on my car, 2 weeks ago, and they told me how much it was, I about fell out. Tires are expensive, y'all. But I was able to write a check for that. And then it just continued to grow. It took me quite a few years to get to a point where I was comfortably spending on the material fun stuff because I just wanted to get our family taken care of. I wanted to gosh, just the simple stuff. There was so much. I kind of wish I'd taken a journal. If you guys are new at this, as you get your Plexus paychecks and they pay for things that might be simple as, oh my, we were able to put my child in gymnastics for the season. Or, my daughter was actually able to, I could actually buy a couple boxes of Girl Scout cookies from her because I had a little bit of extra money. Just those little things that mean a lot. It means a lot to your kid. It means a lot to you. It means a lot to your family. And a lot of it's private stuff because I didn't want to go around and tell everybody, do y'all know how much we're in? We were in so much debt. We had credit cards and we had just all this stuff. And finally, once we got ourselves out and the credit cards out, there was this weight lifted off of our shoulders. And I thought, I never thought I'd ever be this financially okay, where I can go to a grocery store and I don't have to buy Rayovac batteries, y'all. I can buy Duracell batteries. And that was great. I felt cocky walking around the grocery store with Tide in my bag and not the store brand. I mean, it was ridiculous, but that was my reality, And I mean, as the years went on, I was able to put my children both in schools that, my son, I moved him out of a school that was being bullied in and got to put him in a school for kids with special needs. Got to move my daughter out of a school where she was unhappy and move her to a school where she's an actress, she does theater. And then as the business continued to grow, we paid off our house. Crazy. I mean, it's crazy. Even me pulling up my hail-dented minivan, the doors didn't work to the Lexus dealership. And I said, take this piece of junk. I don't care what you give me. But oh my goodness, I got to drive off that lot with a car that smelled like leather. I'd never had a car with leather interior before. It was all these little things that were coming out of this. It was so much joy and so much, yes, all the stuff was fun, but golly, being able to get our family above water was so nice. Getting to have a little nest egg and having money set aside. My parents had struggled for a long time. We got to go buy them a car with cash. My daughter needed a car when she turned 16. We went and bought her a car with cash. It's crazy. Who does that? Who gets to do that? Now we're making like a salary and I'm like, and I'm on my phone all day and I'm with my friends because that's another layer to this onion, y'all. You get to invite your friends to do this with you. And if you can get your friends to understand the freedom that all this provides and they come do it with you, nothing is more fun. Like I have my oldest, I don't know if you all know Diamond, Andrea Mitchell. She was my assistant for 3 years at one of the ad agencies. One of my sapphires, Susan Stern, she was in the office to the left of me. Kim Pollock, she's an emerald on my team. She was on the other side of me in the office. These were my buddies. These are my friends, and we all got to do this together. Melissa Shaver, she's a Diamond ambassador. I don't know if y'all know her. We started a Sunday school class in '06 together. These are people that I knew and I trusted, and I knew they had strong integrity. That was a big thing to me. I wanted to make sure that whoever I brought onto my team, we were going to do this the right way. We were going to share with honor. We were going to put the Lord first. We were going to take care of our team and be respectful and work in the sandbox well with others and all those things. And we just get to do that in this business because you can paint this picture any way you want to. It's yours. You're an independent ambassador. You don't owe anybody anything. You can create this. And creating a strong team culture is really what just made our team just completely thrive. I think we've got over 55 jewels now. I have 16 diamonds on my team. And we are a tight group of friends. We are all come from different backgrounds, you guys. That's what's cool. Some are teachers, some are nurses, some moms. I was an executive, but every one of us brings something special to the team. And we lean on each other and we support each other. And it's become such a family. And I think being a woman, I now have kids that are old. I'm about to be an empty nester. My daughter graduates in a few months. And then it's like, oh my gosh, she's gone. I have my son. He struggled forever and he went to a school, thrived, finished 4th in his class. And now he's up at a private college called Austin College up in Sherman, Texas. The lives my kids and my family are able to live now are nothing I ever would have imagined. However many years ago when I first started this, I'm almost 9 years in. I never could have written this story. And I try my hardest to talk to my friends now, that my new friends and friends that, really still are skeptical about this. I try to share with them all the time that, guys, even on my hardest days here, even on a day when someone decides they want to go do something different, they want to go work somewhere else, they decide this isn't for them, I have to continually tell myself, hey, the Lord didn't mean for them to be on my team. They were seasonal on my team, but He knows what my team's going to look like. He knows, and I'm just going to continue to go forward, and I'm not going to let their decision change the dreams of my family and my family's future, because I can't help control that by the amount of work I want to put in. There's seasons where I've been really drowning in just family stuff, and a father in the hospital for 6 months and all the things, and there's sometimes I had to step back a little bit and really focus on my family, but having the freedom of this job allowed me those freedoms. And then because I had such a strong team, my points didn't dip one time the 6 months that I focused 100% on my family. My business just kept going along because we're a family in this team, and working together and working with your friends and everyone supports each other. This is not like corporate America where we were all stepping on each other's shoulders to try to get to the next, because you don't do that. You don't do that here. You don't. It doesn't work that way. You help everybody across all the teams, because y'all know, a little nugget for you, that if we all increase our sales and increase the sales of the company even just a little bit, the pay point rises and everybody makes more commissions across the board. So it behooves you to help your neighbor. It behooves you to help teams across the nation. And I love that. I love that because it doesn't put us in any type of threatening position at all as ambassadors. We're all in this together. Everybody here has a dream and a why. My why was my son. And I had the picture. I had this little picture right next to my computer that whole first 9 months. And I was not going to let anything steer me away from not achieving what I needed to achieve for that child. And then once that why was achieved, then it was, I wanted to be home with my kids. I worked all the way up till I was a Sapphire ambassador. I worked full time and did this on the side. And people are like, how did you do that? How did you fit that in? Y'all, we have time. I had time. I woke up an hour before my kids did. Hour, I intentionally sat down and got stuff done. Lunch break, I stopped with friends for lunch, and I put my head down and I got stuff done. After I put my kids to bed, did homework, put my kids to bed, instead of getting on and watching, Housewives and whatever, I would say, okay, I'm gonna sit down, open up my laptop, and I'm gonna see if I can, who else wants to join this team? And y'all know that euphoric high when someone's like, sure, I'm in, and they join and they're like, this is really fun, I want to share this with people. You're like, oh my gosh, this is really happening. That high outweighed me sitting there watching that Housewives show. That was ended up not being a sacrifice at all. It ended up being really good for me. And it just worked. And again, I worked it like a business. I just planned it out and I made sure that I took care of everybody that wanted to be part of it. And it just happened. Were there months that were slow? Yes. Has my business gone like everybody's has? But look at any industry out there. Right now, housing up here, right, you guys? And we've all seen times when it was completely in the tank. Insurance, automotive, every industry out there is cyclical. We're not free from that just because we're network marketing. We just have the ability to manage it ourselves. So I know when the times are low, what do? That's when I grab a book and sharpen my own sword. Got the old Atomic Habits. This is the biggie. This is what we just talked about on my group call, on my team call. Goes away tonight. I'll grab that. I will go through my old posts and find stuff that's non-compliant. Go through old posts that just look outdated and kind of icky. Get rid of it. I might make a new little training module for my team, or just, I think, people are always asking me X, Y, and Z. Maybe I could make a little video. These are the things I do in the slow seasons, so that when that wave comes back up, my team is primed and ready to go. And and they're going, oh my gosh, I better make those graphics. They're already made. That's what I was doing when we had a slower month. Sharpening your sword constantly, you guys. It's something you can do in those valleys so that when you do hit hills, that your business just thrives. Anybody can do this. I live in a typical neighborhood, in a typical house. There wasn't anything that I had different than anybody else. I honestly don't think there's much I brought even from my advertising business to this, except for the drive to actually do the work and not be afraid of it. Was I about to throw up the first time I reached out to somebody? Yes. Was I nervous? Yeah. Did I freak out when someone called me and they're like, so exactly where is probiotic ingredients sourced? I'm like hyperventilating. But I take a beat and I say, girl, I'm gonna find that out for you. Give me about 30 minutes. Thank you for bearing with me. I'm brand new, but this is a blast. And all I hear is amazing things. So let me get right back with you. She's like, all right, shoom, shoom. I get back to her, send it out to her. I'm like, okay, this is what we got. And she's like, gosh, thank you. Okay, this stuff does look good. Let's give it a try. And I'm like, that worked? I almost lost sleep over that, and that worked? Because they're friends. Just be real. Be yourself, you guys. Don't try to be somebody else. Make sure you're talking to people the way you want to be talked to, and it just can happen for you. And don't be afraid. Don't be worried. You're going to have bad months. That's part of life. Every time you have a bad month, you write down why you didn't achieve that goal, and then you write down, what do you think I could do different next month? Every single mistake, every single miss on a goal, you're learning to be better. You've learned something from every one of those. Every single billionaire out there has made 1 billion mistakes. That's how they learned. And that's how I learned too. So you guys, I hope you took something from this tonight. I'm very real on this. I hope you guys can kind of see that it's just, this is just how it is. And I know that all of you have this desire to make something out of this business, and you've got what it takes. Maybe you need a little learning in some aspect of this. That's fine. Be willing to learn. Be coachable. What does that mean? That means if somebody says, hey, I know something that you might be able to do that might help. So yeah, give it to me. I'll take any unsolicited advice out there. Because guys, all it's going to do is can help me get better, right? I don't have any pride to any aspect of my business. I'm willing to do anything I can to help achieve these dreams for myself and my family, and also to help my friends achieve their dreams that are on my team. Because I know they're wise, and I want them right up here with me. So that's what I've got for you tonight, Kendall.
I love it. Well, and that's
so many questions. I'm happy to answer anything.
Yes, you guys, if you have questions, for sure, put them in the chat, or you guys know you're always welcome to unmute yourselves. I know that's the scary thought for everybody. But no, I love that. And I think, so often we get on these things and we're like, maybe I'm going to find out the secret to success. Maybe they're going to tell me the one thing I haven't been doing that if I could just do, I'd be successful. But really, it's just showing up. Like, it's showing up every day, regardless of your mood, regardless of how good or bad your business is going, carving out the time, even when you feel like you don't have it. And that's lessons I've had to learn the hard way as well. And but I have so many notes. I have like a whole page of notes. Like, I love how you said that you were seeking after those that you wanted. Like, you were identifying what characteristics you wanted in the people on your team. And that's what you sought after. And like, even, identifying, okay, what does my audience want? And that's what you tried to post instead of just constantly, it's great to share other people's posts. I do it all the time too. But if we're only ever copy and pasting and not thinking, what do my people need to see? Then we're not going to be attracting them through.
Yeah, like if your circle is a whole bunch of teachers, y'all be talking to those teachers, especially if you were a teacher too, because you can empathize. You know exactly what it feels like to walk in and see 20, 30 faces every, and to feel the weight of the grading papers at night and all the things that you guys would struggle with. Tell the story, talk about it.
And that's even, I love like how you had shared, struggling financially and, like where you talked about keeping a journal of your Plexus financial blessings, no matter how tiny they are. Like, those are relatable posts you can make that people will connect with more maybe than even a great before and after. It's like tugging at the heartstrings. And so it just, kind of made me think I need to remind myself of my financial blessings from this, even the little tiny things. I love that. So one question I did have, is there anything like you remember doing intentionally that really helped with recruitment or not not, what's the word? Development of others. What's the word?
Duplication.
Duplication. I'm like, retention, that's not it. Duplication. Like, is there anything specifically that you remember that your team did that was really helpful? I mean, obviously you sought people and that, and you showed up.
Yeah, I totally do. I never let people at the beginning, I never let them sign up on their own.
Okay.
I helped every one of them sign up. I would either be on the phone with them or I would sign them up with, and I would tell them exactly what I'm doing. Because what I did then is I was showcasing how I signed people up. So when I got them comfortable enough doing it, they were doing it for their people. Mm-hmm. I found that when you leave people to sign up on their own, there's such a large learning curve that sometimes just finally when they're done with it, they're kind of like, okay, that was a lot. And then the idea of then moving on into our business seemed pretty overwhelming. By me being with them from the beginning, it even helped me be more vested in them. Because in those moments when I was signing up for them and I was helping them write their first post, I mean, I spoon feed my ambassadors when they're brand new. Because in that, we had lots of conversations. I learned more about them. I learned more about what they wanted. I learned more than just one little 30-minute call or a text of what's your why and what's your dream. I was working it with them and doing it with them. Then when they grow, they got with their people and we're doing it with them. I hear a lot of people say, can you send me a graphic on how to tell somebody how to sign up? And I'm like, I've never ever gave anybody a graphic to tell them how to sign up. I always did it with them because user error is huge in any online purchase. So I'm like, I'm going to help them. Now I do take that and I send it to them and I'll say, and there's actually a graphic that went around. Oh, it was around spring break because I was on spring break when I saw it. And somebody said, the information you will need to sign somebody up. Mm-hmm. That's a good graphic because I would send my people and say, hey, I can help you sign up, but I'm going to need this information. Boom, boom. And it was all the 7 things you need from somebody. And they would be like, great. And I was getting these texts with all the information. I'm like, sweet. I'm sitting there. My boys are watching the football game and I'm signing people up because I had all their information. And then I would explain to them exactly what I did. And then when they need to sign somebody, help them walk through that person. I know people do it a different way, but that seemed to work pretty well for me. And we got a lot of people signed up in that manner. I remember we signed up Becky Page, if y'all know Becky Page or Rachel Neagle. Julia Carty was signed up that way. Ellen Ford. These are some people on my team. It's funny. And crazy thing, I didn't know any of these girls before. Like I met all them through Plexus and now they're like my best friends, which is the funnest thing ever. But anyway.
Well, and I know one of the big reasons people hesitate to get on the phone is because you don't know how long a conversation is going to take, right? Mm-hmm. So like, at least for me, I have switched a long time ago. I've switched to trying to get on the phone with people if they'll allow me to. Mm-hmm. Some won't. But like I try to think of it takes 10 to 15 minutes, but that 10 to 15 minutes on the phone with somebody can move your business forward and develop relationships deeper than any other 10 to 15 minutes you're going to give to your business. You could do 10 to 15 minutes of IPA and 10 to 15 minutes on the phone just somebody up is going to be more income producing and results producing. So it's just, you're going to spend the time anyway. I would rather invest it in developing a relationship and having that opportunity to share about the referral link, talk about their mom and
you can slip in really quick. You can slip in and say, hey, and if you want to share this with anybody, if you have anybody else who totally needs this, girl, just send that link to them or I'll take the commissions on it. But if you send them the link, they're going to pay you commissions on that.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to take them. I've said that to people. They're like, no, I'll take it. How does this work? I've said that to many people where I'm like, I'll just take the commissions. But I mean, actually, but if you sent the link, you get it. And then, and that's fun. That's a conversation you can have. You're casual and when you're signing somebody up and putting in their credit card and all their stuff. Does that make sense?
Yes, I love it. So last question, and then we'll let you have your evening because you've been on the phone for a while. So you obviously have a lot of leaders on your team. You have a lot of jewels on your team. You've definitely developed fellow leaders. So do you have a tip on how you've kind of taken a brand new person and helped develop them into a leader that actually is willing to step up and lead a team instead of just recruit?
I really made sure that all of my leaders doing leadership training, that all of them either. I mean, before we didn't have it. So back in the day, I wrote a training that I used to make, my entire team was, we were doing it twice a week. Remember back when we were doing live meetings like constantly, and then those trainings turned into corporate started doing their own trainings and leadership trainings. And I try to encourage my leaders, like we'll find a really cool video or somebody that's at any of the events, we'll pull a video and we'll all watch it together and then we'll break it down and talk about it. And I'd be like, you guys, I think I could really use this. How could you use this for your team? And we all share different ways to use it. Just conversations. Anybody that's even, a senior, silver and up, they're a leader. The minute you have people looking up to you for what do I do next? I'd like to do this. What do I do? You're a leader. So a lot of people who've never been a leader in their life, they've never been in a position of leadership, there's going to be a bit of a learning curve. Be willing to dig your feet in and about leadership. Anything by John Maxwell, grab a book and read that together with your team of fascinating things. I knew nothing about network marketing. I had before. I had no idea. This is a relational business. So loving on your people, having conversations, having team get-togethers, lunches, anything like that drew us closer and closer. And then we all learn, share, our team's really close sideline wise because at every single event, leadership retreat, convention, everything, we always do team stuff, team building stuff where we're all together. And that's really everybody kind of be like, oh, if they're all jewels, well, I want to be there. Guys, what do I do? And they've got like 5 jewels pouring into them. Do you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden they got all these tips. It's just kind of making sure that everybody is open to sharing and open, and kind of had to set that culture for my team. And whatever culture you set for your team's going to follow. Mm-hmm. If you don't set a culture of sharing and being open and helping each other, that's what's going to happen on the team. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate you. I mean, I'm not even lying. I accidentally grabbed a paper that already had stuff, so I didn't even have a blank page. So it's like everything's just written in all these columns, and but so much good stuff. We appreciate you so much. So, and thanks everyone
guys for having me tonight. Thank you so much. This was lovely. Thank you guys. Y'all have a great night. Take care and go Plexus. Bye y'all.